Regret, while natural, becomes corrosive when allowed to define your present. Accepting the choices you've made is not about ignoring their consequences, but acknowledging that the past cannot be rewritten. What matters is what you do with the lessons they've taught you. Instead of lamenting missed opportunities, turn your gaze to the possibilities now unfolding. Every choice you've ever made has led to this moment. Each misstep shaped the resilience, wisdom, and clarity you now hold, tools to navigate what lies ahead with courage. The process of releasing the past isn't linear. Old wounds may resurface when you least expect them, triggered by a song, a place, or even a fleeting thought. These moments can feel overwhelming, like an inescapable tide pulling you backward, but with practice, you'll learn to acknowledge their presence without letting them define your day. Allow yourself to feel what arises, but gently remind yourself that these emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. They are reminders of your humanity and your ability to heal. Sometimes, detachment requires a physical act to symbolize emotional release. Writing down what burdens you and ceremoniously letting it go, whether by tearing it up or burning it safely, can feel like lifting an invisible weight. These gestures don't erase the past, but declare your intent to no longer be shackled by it. Detachment also means recalibrating how you view the successes of yesterday. Achievements, while valuable, can sometimes become prisons of their own. When you tie your identity to what you once accomplished, you may feel trapped by the pressure to replicate or surpass it. This creates an endless cycle of striving for external validation, often at the cost of internal peace. Letting go of the need to continually prove yourself allows you to explore new avenues, unburdened by the expectations of others or even yourself. The beauty of release lies in the space it creates. By untangling yourself from the past, you make room for experiences yet to come. Imagine your mind as a garden. For new flowers to bloom, you must clear the weeds and turn the soil. Each act of letting go is a seed planted for the life you truly want to cultivate. In relationships, detachment can feel especially challenging. Love, connection, and shared history often create bonds that seem unbreakable, even when they no longer serve you. Recognizing when a relationship has run its course doesn't negate its value. It's an acknowledgement that growth sometimes requires letting go of what was to embrace what will be. Whether it's a friendship that no longer aligns with your values or a romantic partnership that has become more painful than nurturing, release allows both parties to find peace. Releasing a relationship doesn't mean erasing the memories or ignoring the love that once existed. It means honoring the time you shared while allowing yourself to move forward without resentment or guilt. Detachment, in this sense, is an act of love for yourself and the other person, granting freedom to both parties to grow in the ways they are meant to. As you step further into the practice of letting go, you'll notice something unexpected: clarity. The noise of the past begins to fade, replaced by a quiet understanding of what truly matters. Choices become easier when you're no longer trying to rewrite history or seek validation from what once was. You stop fighting the currents of time and instead learn to swim with them, finding strength in surrender. This clarity extends beyond the self. Letting go of past expectations also transforms how you engage with the world around you. No longer weighed down by regrets or grudges, you become more present in your interactions. You listen more deeply, speak more thoughtfully, and connect more authentically. This presence enriches your relationships, making them more fulfilling and meaningful. The most profound realization of this journey is that freedom doesn't come from what you gain, but from what you release. Peace isn't something you achieve by accumulation. It's something you discover in the spaces you create by letting go. Detachment doesn't mean losing yourself. It means finding the version of yourself that isn't defined by pain, regret, or unmet expectations. Every step you take toward release is a step toward liberation. It's not about erasing the past, but integrating it in a way that empowers you to live fully in the present. With each act of letting go, you reclaim your energy, focus, and peace, building a life that feels truly, authentically yours. The process of letting go often reveals layers of attachments you didn't even realize you had. It's not just about releasing the obvious burdens like regret, guilt, or past failures. It's about uncovering the subtle ways you've been tethered to expectations, labels, and even outdated versions of yourself. These layers run deep, often shaping your choices, relationships, and self-perception. And yet, beneath them lies a truth waiting to be rediscovered, a truth that sets you free when you finally allow it. As you begin to peel back these layers, you might encounter resistance. Change, even when it's for the better, can feel unsettling. You've grown accustomed to certain patterns, even if they've caused you pain or stunted your growth. Familiarity can be a powerful force, keeping you anchored to the very things you know you need to let go of. But it's in this discomfort that transformation begins. Every tug of resistance is a sign that you're stepping into uncharted territory, a place where growth thrives. One of the most difficult things to release is the need to control outcomes. It's a habit born from fear, the fear of uncertainty, of failure, of not being enough. You try to script your life to the finest detail, believing that if you just hold on tightly enough, you can make everything fall into place. But the harder you grip, the more fragile it all feels. Control is an illusion, and clinging to it only leads to frustration and exhaustion. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the process of life, knowing that not everything is meant to unfold according to your plan. There's freedom in surrender, in accepting that some things are beyond your influence. It allows you to focus on what you can control, your actions, your mindset, your responses, while releasing the rest to unfold as it will. This shift brings a profound sense of peace, a calm that comes from knowing you're doing your part without carrying the weight of the entire universe on your shoulders. Another layer of attachment lies in the stories you tell yourself about who you are. These stories often begin as truths, but harden into limitations over time. Maybe you've told yourself you're not brave, not creative, or not capable of achieving your dreams. These narratives become a kind of armor, protecting you from failure, but also keeping you from growth. Letting go of these stories requires vulnerability, a willingness to step into the unknown and discover who you are beyond the labels. In relationships, letting go often means breaking free from the idea that you are responsible for someone else's happiness. It's a heavy burden to carry, one that drains your energy and leaves little room for your own well-being. While love and support are vital parts of any relationship, they should never come at the expense of your own peace. You can care deeply for someone without sacrificing yourself in the process. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of love for yourself and for the other person, as it allows both of you to thrive independently. Releasing these attachments doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying. You stop carrying the weight of expectations, of unspoken obligations, of trying to be everything for everyone. You learn that it's okay to put some of that weight down, to say no without guilt, to prioritize your well-being without apology. And in doing so, you reclaim a part of yourself that's been buried under the weight of trying to please everyone else. As you move through this process, you'll notice something remarkable. The more you let go, the more space you create. Space for joy, for clarity, for the things that truly matter. It's like clearing out a cluttered room. At first it feels overwhelming, but as the unnecessary items are removed, you begin to see the beauty of the space itself. That space becomes a canvas, waiting for you to paint the life you truly desire. Letting go also allows you to step into the flow of life. When you're constantly fighting against the current, trying to control, predict, and manage every detail, you miss out on the natural rhythm of existence. But when you surrender to that flow, you begin to notice the opportunities, connections, and experiences that were always there, waiting for you to stop resisting and start embracing. In this flow, you learn to trust yourself and the process. You stop second-guessing every decision, worrying about every possible outcome, and overthinking every interaction. Instead, you move with intention, guided by your values and intuition. Trusting yourself doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means you'll have the confidence to navigate them, to learn from them, and to keep moving forward. The act of letting go often feels like loss at first, but it's important to remember that it's not about losing, it's about gaining. You're not giving up on what was. You're making room for what could be. You're creating space for a life that feels lighter, freer, and more aligned with who you truly are. And in that space, you'll find a sense of peace that no amount of holding on could ever bring. This peace is not loud or dramatic. It's not the kind of peace that demands attention or applause. It's quiet, steady, and deeply personal. It's the kind of peace that comes from knowing you've released what no longer serves you and embraced what truly matters. It's a peace that allows you to move through life with grace and authenticity, unburdened by the weight of unnecessary attachments. Each step you take toward letting go is a step toward reclaiming yourself. It's a journey that requires courage, patience, and self-compassion. But with each release, you'll feel lighter, more grounded, and more connected to the life you're meant to live. The past will always be a part of your story, but it doesn't have to define your future. The choice to let go is yours, and in that choice lies the power to create a life that is truly your own. As you journey deeper into the process of letting go, you begin to realize how much of your life has been shaped by invisible forces, expectations that aren't yours, habits you've outgrown, and fears that whisper of failure or rejection. These forces are subtle, often woven into the fabric of your daily existence, but their weight becomes undeniable when you finally pause to reflect. Letting go means not just releasing the obvious burdens, but also unearthing the quieter, more insidious ones that have rooted themselves in your identity. One of the most persistent of these forces is the fear of failure. It lurks in the background, coloring your decisions and holding you back from pursuing what truly matters. You tell yourself that playing it safe is the smarter choice, that staying within the lines protects you from disappointment. But the truth is, this fear does more than shield you from failure. It also shields you from growth, from discovery, from the possibility of becoming something greater than you imagined. Letting go of the fear of failure doesn't mean you stop caring about outcomes. It means redefining what failure means to you. Instead of seeing it as a verdict on your worth, you begin to view it as a teacher. Each misstep becomes a lesson, each setback an opportunity to refine your approach. When you stop fearing failure, you start to see it as an essential part of the journey, a necessary step on the path to success. Equally challenging is releasing the need for perfection. Perfectionism often masquerades as ambition, convincing you that you're striving for excellence when, in reality, it's trapping you in a cycle of self-doubt and procrastination. You hesitate to start because the end result might not be flawless. You hold back from sharing your ideas, your art, your voice, because they might not be good enough. But perfection is an impossible standard, a mirage that keeps moving farther away the closer you get. When you let go of perfectionism, you embrace the beauty of imperfection, the raw, messy, and wonderfully human aspects of life. You allow yourself to create, to explore, to take risks, knowing that the process itself is where the magic happens. It's not about achieving a flawless outcome. It's about showing up, trying, and growing along the way. Letting go of perfection frees you to live more fully, more authentically, and with more joy. Another invisible tether that often holds you back is the habit of comparison. It's easy to look at someone else's journey and feel inadequate, as if their success somehow diminishes your own. But comparison is a thief, robbing you of the ability to appreciate your unique path. Every time you measure yourself against someone else, you lose sight of your own progress and potential. Releasing the habit of comparison means turning your focus inward, celebrating your achievements no matter how small they may seem. It means recognizing that everyone's journey is different, shaped by their own challenges and circumstances. The only person you need to compete with is the person you were yesterday. When you let go of comparison, you make room for gratitude, for what you have, for who you are, and for the possibilities that lie ahead. As you continue to untangle yourself from these invisible forces, you'll find that one of the most powerful acts of letting go is releasing the need for external validation. It's natural to want to be seen, appreciated, and understood, but when your sense of worth depends on the opinions of others, you give away your power. You become a chameleon, constantly shifting to fit expectations, losing touch with your authentic self in the process. Letting go of this need is not about rejecting connection or feedback. It's about reclaiming your sense of self-worth. It's about recognizing that you are enough, just as you are, regardless of what anyone else thinks. This realization is deeply liberating, allowing you to live with confidence and purpose. You stop seeking approval and start living in alignment with your values, creating a life that feels true to you. With each release, you begin to notice the quiet strength that comes from within. You become less reactive to the chaos around you and more anchored in your own truth. The noise of the world, its demands, its judgments, its endless chatter, fades into the background, replaced by a sense of clarity and focus. You start to see life not as a series of obligations, but as a canvas, waiting for you to paint your unique masterpiece. Letting go also means embracing change, even when it feels uncomfortable. Growth is rarely a linear process. It's messy, unpredictable, and often accompanied by growing pains. But it's in these moments of discomfort that transformation takes root. By releasing the fear of change, you open yourself to new possibilities, new experiences, and new ways of being. You begin to trust the process even when the outcome is uncertain, knowing that every step forward is a step toward becoming who you're meant to be. The act of letting go is deeply personal. It's not something you do for recognition or applause. It's a quiet, internal shift, a choice to prioritize your peace over perfection, your growth over fear, and your authenticity over approval. It's a commitment to yourself, a declaration that you are worthy of living a life that feels whole, light, and free. In this journey, you'll discover that letting go is not about losing, it's about gaining. Gaining clarity, gaining freedom, gaining the ability to move through life with intention and grace. It's about shedding the layers of what no longer serves you and stepping into the fullness of who you are. With every release, you come closer to the life you've always deserved, one filled with peace, purpose, and possibility. Letting go is not a single decision. It's a series of choices made moment by moment. It's the decision to release a thought that no longer serves you, to walk away from a situation that drains your energy, or to forgive yourself for a mistake that lingers in your mind. These small acts of release, repeated over time, create a powerful ripple effect, reshaping the way you experience life. Forgiveness is often one of the hardest things to let go of, not because it's impossible, but because the pain feels justified. You hold on to anger, resentment, or betrayal like armor, convinced that releasing it would mean excusing what happened. But forgiveness is not about absolving someone else of responsibility. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of carrying that pain. It's choosing peace over punishment, healing over bitterness. Forgiving yourself is just as vital as forgiving others. So often, the person we're hardest on is ourselves. You replay moments where you fell short, said the wrong thing, or failed to meet your own expectations. These regrets pile up, becoming a narrative of inadequacy that plays on a loop in your mind. But holding on to this self-criticism doesn't change the past. It only holds you back from embracing the present. When you forgive yourself, you're not letting yourself off the hook. You're acknowledging that you are human, that you've made mistakes, and that you have the power to grow from them. Self-forgiveness is an act of grace, a declaration that you are worthy of moving forward without the chains of guilt. It's not about forgetting what happened, but integrating the lessons learned and giving yourself permission to begin anew. Another layer of letting go involves releasing attachments to outcomes. You set a goal, envision a specific path, and invest yourself fully in the pursuit of success. But what happens when things don't go according to plan? The disappointment can be crushing, not just because you didn't achieve what you wanted, but because you tied your sense of worth to the result. Letting go of this attachment means understanding that your value is not determined by external achievements. When you detach from outcomes, you free yourself to focus on the journey itself. You learn to find fulfillment in the effort, the growth, and the experiences along the way. Success becomes less about reaching a destination and more about who you become in the process. This shift allows you to approach challenges with curiosity rather than fear, knowing that the value lies in the experience, not just the result. Releasing attachments doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means pursuing them with intention and passion while remaining open to the twists and turns that life may bring. Sometimes what you thought you wanted turns out to be a stepping stone to something even better, something you couldn't have planned for, but is exactly what you need. Letting go also requires a deep sense of trust. Trust in yourself, in the process, and in life itself. This trust doesn't come easily, especially if you've experienced betrayal, failure, or loss. But it's through these very experiences that trust can be rebuilt. Each time you navigate a challenge and come out stronger, you remind yourself of your resilience. Each time you take a risk and learn from it, you reaffirm your ability to grow. Trust is a muscle, strengthened by practice and self-compassion. One of the most transformative aspects of letting go is the space it creates for joy. When your mind is no longer consumed by worries about the past or fears about the future, you become more present. You notice the beauty in everyday moments, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of laughter, the feeling of connection with someone you love. These moments, small as they may seem, are the building blocks of a meaningful life. Joy doesn't need grand gestures or extraordinary circumstances to flourish. It thrives in the simplicity of being fully present, unburdened by the weight of what no longer matters. When you let go, you open the door to these moments of lightness, allowing them to fill the space once occupied by doubt, fear, or regret. Letting go also transforms the way you approach relationships. When you release the need to control how others see you, you begin to connect with people in a more authentic way. You're no longer performing or pretending, you're simply showing up as yourself. This honesty creates deeper, more meaningful connections, built on mutual respect and understanding rather than pretense. Releasing control doesn't mean becoming passive. It means recognizing the limits of your influence and focusing your energy on what you can give rather than what you expect to receive. It's about showing up with love, compassion, and integrity, knowing that these qualities enrich your relationships regardless of the outcome. This shift allows you to engage with others more freely, without the constant pressure of trying to shape their perceptions. As you let go of control, comparison, and fear, you also begin to release the idea that you need to have it all figured out. The truth is, no one has all the answers. Life is a process of discovery, a journey of trial and error, growth and change. When you embrace this uncertainty, you free yourself from the burden of perfection. You allow yourself to be a work in progress, constantly evolving, constantly learning. This acceptance of imperfection extends to the world around you. You stop fighting reality and start working with it, finding beauty even in the messiness of life. You learn to see setbacks as detours rather than dead ends, challenges as opportunities rather than obstacles. This mindset shift brings a sense of peace, a calm assurance that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way. The more you practice letting go, the more you realize it's not about giving something up. It's about gaining something better. You gain freedom from the chains of self-doubt. You gain clarity about what truly matters. You gain the ability to move through life with grace and purpose, unburdened by unnecessary weight. In letting go, you come home to yourself. You rediscover the parts of you that were hidden beneath the layers of fear, expectation, and regret. You step into the fullness of who you are, embracing your strengths, your flaws, and your infinite capacity for growth. And in this space of self-acceptance, you find a peace that no one and nothing can take away. As you continue to let go, the process begins to feel less like an act of surrender and more like an act of reclamation. You're not losing anything essential. Instead, you're reclaiming the energy, focus, and peace that have been quietly siphoned away by fear, regret, and unnecessary attachments. What remains is not an emptiness, but a clarity, a stillness that allows you to see what truly matters. This clarity begins to shape how you interact with the world. No longer weighed down by past mistakes or the need to prove yourself, you start to approach life with a sense of openness. You see opportunities where before you might have seen only risks. You recognize possibilities in places where fear once blocked your view. Letting go doesn't make the challenges disappear, but it changes how you face them. Instead of seeing them as insurmountable, you see them as steps in your journey, each one building your strength and resilience. One of the most profound shifts that happens when you let go is in your relationship with time. The constant pressure to do more, be more, and achieve more begins to ease. You stop racing against the clock, trying to fit a lifetime of accomplishments into every waking moment. Instead, you start to live in alignment with your own rhythm, understanding that progress doesn't always come in leaps and bounds. Sometimes it's found in the quiet moments, in the pauses where you allow yourself to simply be. Time becomes less of an enemy and more of an ally. You stop chasing it, and instead, you begin to flow with it. This shift brings with it a sense of presence, a newfound appreciation for the here and now. You no longer dwell on what you should have done or worry endlessly about what's to come. Instead, you immerse yourself fully in the present moment, recognizing it as the only time that truly exists. In this presence, you find a richness that no amount of planning or striving could ever replicate. This newfound relationship with time extends to how you approach your goals. Letting go doesn't mean abandoning ambition. It means pursuing it with intention and balance. You begin to set goals that align with your values, goals that energize rather than exhaust you. You let go of the ones that were never truly yours, those born from societal pressure, comparison, or the need for approval. What remains are the goals that resonate deeply, the ones that bring meaning and joy to your life. As you release the weight of unnecessary expectations, you also begin to let go of the idea that your worth is tied to productivity. The endless to-do lists, the constant need to achieve, and the drive to always be busy lose their grip on you. You start to understand that rest is not a reward, it's a necessity. Rest is where growth happens, where clarity emerges, and where creativity flourishes. By giving yourself permission to slow down, you reclaim the energy to focus on what truly matters. This process of letting go also deepens your connection with others. When you release the need to control, to impress, or to please, you show up more authentically in your relationships. You're no longer guarded by fear of rejection or the pressure to meet expectations. Instead, you bring your whole self to the table, flaws, vulnerabilities, and all. This authenticity creates deeper bonds built on trust and mutual respect. You realize that the relationships that truly matter are not the ones that require you to perform, but the ones that allow you to simply be. Letting go also means recognizing the impermanence of everything in life. Nothing stays the same forever, not the joy, not the pain, not the people or the circumstances. This understanding can be bittersweet, but it also brings freedom. When you stop clinging to what was, or fearing what might be, you open yourself to fully experiencing what is. You learn to cherish the moments of happiness while they last, and to navigate the moments of struggle knowing they too will pass. In this impermanence, you find a deeper appreciation for the beauty of life. The fleeting nature of each moment makes it more precious, not less. You stop taking things for granted and begin to savor the simple joys. A smile from a stranger, the warmth of a hug, the quiet comfort of being alone with your thoughts. Letting go allows you to see the world with fresh eyes, noticing the details that were once overshadowed by worry and distraction. This journey of release is not about erasing the past or ignoring the challenges of life. It's about transforming your relationship with them. The past becomes a teacher rather than a burden, and challenges become opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to fear. You stop resisting life and start flowing with it, trusting that you have the strength and wisdom to navigate whatever comes your way. As you embrace this process, you begin to feel a sense of lightness, not because life has become easier, but because you've become stronger. The weight you once carried no longer defines you. Instead, you are defined by your resilience, your courage, and your capacity for growth. You start to see yourself not as someone who is bound by circumstances, but as someone who is continually evolving, continually discovering the depth of your own potential. This lightness is not fleeting, it's enduring. It's a sense of freedom that comes from within, independent of external circumstances. It's the kind of freedom that allows you to live with intention, to love without fear, and to dream without limits. With each act of letting go, you move closer to this freedom, creating a life that feels not only lighter, but also richer and more meaningful. In the end, letting go is not an act of loss, but an act of creation. It's about creating space for what truly matters, for the things that bring you joy, peace, and purpose. It's about reclaiming your life, not as it was or as it might be, but as it is right now, in all its imperfect beauty. And in that reclamation, you find a sense of wholeness that no amount of holding on could ever provide. As the journey of letting go comes full circle, you begin to realize that this process has never been about becoming someone new. It's been about uncovering who you've always been. Beneath the layers of fear, regret, expectations, and distractions lies a truth so simple yet so profound. You are enough. You've always been enough. Letting go is the act of peeling back those layers to reveal the clarity, peace, and purpose that were there all along. With this realization comes a new way of approaching life. You stop seeking fulfillment in things outside yourself. Instead, you recognize that the contentment you've been searching for has always been within. This doesn't mean you no longer strive or dream. It means your striving is no longer driven by a sense of lack. You pursue your goals not to fill a void, but to express the fullness of who you are. This shift in perspective brings with it a quiet kind of power. When you let go of what no longer serves you, you stop reacting to life and start creating it. You become intentional with your choices, focusing your energy on what aligns with your values and brings you joy. The distractions that once consumed your time and attention lose their pull, leaving you free to invest in what truly matters. You also begin to see challenges in a new light. Where once they felt like insurmountable obstacles, they now appear as opportunities for growth. You understand that struggle is not a sign of failure, but a necessary part of transformation. Each challenge becomes a chance to deepen your resilience, to learn, and to rise stronger than before. Letting go doesn't mean avoiding difficulties. It means facing them with grace, knowing they are shaping you into the person you are meant to become. One of the greatest gifts of letting go is the freedom to forgive. Not just others, but also yourself. Forgiveness becomes less about absolving wrongdoing and more about releasing the pain that keeps you tethered to the past. It's an act of compassion, a way of saying, I choose peace over hurt. With each act of forgiveness, you reclaim a piece of your heart, creating space for love, joy, and connection to flow freely. This freedom extends to your relationships as well. You stop clinging to those who drain you, and you release the need to prove your worth to others. In doing so, you create space for relationships that uplift, inspire, and nurture you. These connections are not built on obligation or fear, but on mutual respect and authenticity. You no longer settle for less than you deserve because you've come to understand your own value. Letting go also transforms how you view time. You stop racing against it, measuring your worth by how much you can accomplish. Instead, you embrace the present moment, knowing it is the only time you truly have. This presence allows you to savor life's simple pleasures, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the sound of laughter, the quiet peace of a still morning. These moments, fleeting as they may be, become the foundation of a rich and meaningful life. With each step of this journey, you become more aligned with your true self. The noise of the world fades, replaced by the quiet wisdom of your inner voice. You stop chasing external validation and start listening to what your heart truly wants. This alignment brings a sense of ease, a feeling of being at home in your own life. Letting go is not an end, it's a beginning. It's the start of a life that feels lighter, freer, and more aligned with who you are. It's the foundation for a deeper sense of peace, one that is not dependent on circumstances, but rooted in your own being. And as you continue to let go, you discover that this peace is not fleeting, it's enduring. It's the kind of peace that allows you to move through life with confidence and grace, unburdened by the weight of what no longer matters. In this space of release, you also find a newfound appreciation for impermanence. You understand that life is ever-changing, that nothing is fixed or permanent. This awareness doesn't bring fear, it brings freedom. It allows you to cherish the beauty of each moment, knowing it is unique and precious. You stop holding on so tightly and start embracing the flow of life, trusting that each twist and turn is part of a greater journey. Ultimately, letting go is about coming home to yourself. It's about recognizing that you are not defined by your past, your possessions, or the expectations of others. You are defined by your ability to grow, to adapt, and to live with intention. Letting go is the act of clearing away what doesn't belong so that what remains is pure, true, and whole. And as you stand at this place of clarity, you realize that the weight you've released was never yours to carry. You are free now, free to dream, to love, to live fully and unapologetically, free to create a life that feels deeply, beautifully, and authentically yours. And in this freedom, you find not just peace, but the courage to embrace all that life has to offer. This is the gift of letting go, the ability to live a life unburdened, filled with purpose, and guided by the quiet strength of knowing who you truly are. Life is a continuous tapestry of experiences, lessons, and choices. It's fascinating how each moment carries the potential to redefine who we are and how we move forward. Growth isn't about perfection or the eradication of missteps. It's about weaving those lessons into the fabric of who you're becoming. Every decision you've made in the past was rooted in what you knew at that time, influenced by your understanding, emotions, and circumstances. Regret can linger, but it doesn't serve as a bridge to growth. Reflection and application do. Imagine sitting with your past self, not as a critic, but as a compassionate guide. Writing a letter to the version of you who struggled, made mistakes, or experienced heartbreak can be incredibly liberating. This isn't about wallowing in what was lost, but acknowledging the weight of those moments and releasing them. Whether you tear up that letter, burn it, or tuck it away, the act itself symbolizes closure, a tangible step toward freedom. The journey of letting go is deeply personal, but often supported by the people around us. Surrounding yourself with those who uplift and ground you can act as a lighthouse during tumultuous times. These individuals remind you of your strength, your potential, and the beauty of the present. They shift your gaze from the pull of past regrets to the possibilities that await you. Gratitude is a quiet but powerful force in this journey. It has a remarkable way of reframing even the most challenging situations. By focusing on the gifts of today, the people who bring joy, the opportunities that stretch you, the small moments of wonder, you begin to dilute the influence of past pain. Gratitude redirects your energy, grounding you in abundance rather than scarcity. Creating new memories also plays a vital role. Each time you step out of your comfort zone, try something different, or meet someone new, you're actively building a present that is rich enough to overshadow what came before. These fresh experiences don't erase the past, but they weave a stronger narrative of resilience and growth, reminding you that life is vast, dynamic, and full of possibilities. Setting boundaries is an act of self-preservation in the process of release. Some people, situations, or even your own thoughts may anchor you to moments that no longer serve you. Polite redirection or mindful shifts in focus are acts of courage. Boundaries are not about shutting others out, but about creating a safe space where you can grow unencumbered. Patience is a virtue, not just with others, but with yourself. Letting go doesn't happen overnight. It's not a linear path, and there will be days when old memories or feelings resurface. The key is not to suppress them, but to acknowledge their presence without letting them dictate your course. Each time you choose to return to the present, you weaken the grip of the past. Detachment doesn't mean forgetting. It means integrating your past in a way that propels you forward rather than holding you back. By learning from your experiences and releasing their emotional weight, you create a space for joy, love, and growth. Life becomes lighter, not because the past disappears, but because you've stopped carrying it as a burden. Freedom lies in this release. Without the heavy chains of grudges, failures, or what-ifs, you're free to explore life with curiosity and openness. Your energy, once tied to what was, becomes available for what is and what can be. This clarity transforms your path, making way for meaningful experiences and deeper connections. But as you loosen your grip on the past, a new challenge often emerges: the hold of unrealistic expectations. These expectations, whether imposed on others, on life, or on yourself, create a friction that hinders joy. They whisper promises of perfection, certainty or control, illusions that rarely hold up in the face of life's unpredictability. Releasing these expectations is not about abandoning hope or settling for less. It's about realignment, embracing the reality of imperfection and finding peace within it. The belief that everything must go perfectly sets you up for constant disappointment. By redefining success as progress and effort rather than flawlessness, you free yourself from unnecessary pressure. Relationships often become entangled with unrealistic expectations. The idea that someone else should always meet your needs or act according to your standards denies their individuality. People are wonderfully complex, shaped by their own struggles and experiences. Accepting this complexity opens the door to healthier, more empathetic connections. In the workplace, at home, or in love, expectations can be recalibrated. Instead of expecting perfection, focus on collaboration, understanding, and growth. Flexibility becomes your ally, allowing you to adapt when life inevitably takes a different turn. The ability to pivot transforms obstacles into opportunities. At the heart of unrealistic expectations lies a desire for control, a desire to predict, dictate, or secure outcomes. Stoicism reminds us that true liberation comes from surrendering this need. Trusting in life's flow, in your ability to navigate its challenges, and in the potential for unexpected beauty creates space for gratitude, patience, and deeper presence. Comparison is another fuel for unhelpful expectations. It's easy to look at someone else's highlight reel and feel inadequate. Yet every journey is unique, and the milestones of others don't diminish your progress. Gratitude shifts the narrative, helping you focus on what you have, what you've accomplished, and the steps ahead. Through gratitude, flexibility, and self-compassion, the hold of unrealistic expectations begins to dissolve. What remains is a life lived in alignment with reality, where setbacks are not failures but steps, where differences in others become strengths, and where you can move forward with resilience and clarity. As you ease into the liberation of releasing unrealistic expectations, another undercurrent of modern life begins to reveal itself: the omnipresent pull of distractions. Chief among these is the allure of social media, a space brimming with connections, inspiration, and endless information. Yet, its overuse often leaves you feeling scattered, drained, and disconnected from the present. Reducing your reliance on social media isn't about severing ties completely. It's about reclaiming your focus, clarity, and ability to live with intention. The design of social media thrives on the allure of instant gratification. Notifications, likes, and comments create a cycle of dopamine hits, pulling you in for just one more scroll. What begins as a harmless check-in often turns into hours lost, your attention fragmented, and your mental energy depleted. Breaking this cycle doesn't mean rejecting the digital world, but setting boundaries that allow you to engage meaningfully while preserving your peace. Awareness is the first step toward change. Begin by observing your habits. How often do you reach for your phone without thinking? What feelings drive this urge? Boredom, loneliness, or the need for distraction? And, most importantly, how do you feel afterward? Are you energized, inspired, or left with a vague sense of dissatisfaction? This awareness provides the clarity needed to reshape your relationship with social media. Setting boundaries is a practical way to reclaim control. Designate specific times to check your accounts, perhaps once in the morning and once in the evening, rather than succumbing to the constant pull throughout the day. Establish no-phone zones in your routine, during meals, while spending time with loved ones, or before bed. These boundaries not only protect your time, but also help you refocus on what truly matters. Curating your digital space is another powerful tool. The content you consume shapes your mindset and energy. A cluttered feed filled with negativity, unrealistic ideals, or trivial distractions weighs heavily on your mental state. Take time to unfollow accounts that don't align with your values or bring you joy. Instead, prioritize those that inspire, educate, or uplift. This intentional approach transforms your social media into a space that nurtures your growth rather than detracting from it. Comparison is a trap that social media often sets. You see carefully curated highlight reels, not the struggles or complexities behind them. This distorted lens can leave you feeling inadequate, as though your life is somehow falling short. Reducing your time online helps you shift focus from external benchmarks to your own unique journey. Gratitude plays a crucial role here, helping you appreciate the richness of your own experiences instead of longing for someone else's. It's not enough to simply limit your time on social media. You need to fill that reclaimed space with meaningful activities. Engage in hobbies that bring you joy. Connect deeply with the people around you, or spend time in nature. These moments provide a deeper sense of fulfillment than any fleeting interaction online. They remind you that the most enriching parts of life are often found offline. Mindfulness becomes a vital practice in navigating your digital habits. Before reaching for your phone, pause and ask yourself why. Is it a conscious choice or an automatic reflex? Practicing mindfulness in these moments helps you break the cycle of mindless scrolling and replace it with intentional action. This small but powerful shift allows you to engage with technology on your terms. Social media's infinite scrolling feature is designed to keep you hooked, often at the expense of your productivity and mental clarity. Recognizing this design as a deliberate tactic empowers you to take back control. Approach your time online with a critical mindset, setting limits that protect your energy and attention. Digital detoxes, whether for a day, a weekend, or longer, can be transformative. Stepping away entirely allows you to reset, reconnect with yourself, and gain perspective on how you want to engage moving forward. These intentional breaks remind you of life's richness outside the digital realm. Self-compassion is essential in this process. It's easy to fall into guilt over time lost online, but these feelings only create further stress. Approach the journey with kindness, understanding that breaking habits takes time and persistence. Celebrate small victories, like reducing your screen time by a few minutes, or resisting the urge to check your phone during a conversation. Each step forward is a win. The long-term impact of excessive social media use, linked to increased anxiety, depression, and feelings of isolation, serves as a compelling motivation for change. By reducing your reliance on these platforms, you protect your mental health and create space for more meaningful experiences. Social media, when used mindfully, can be a powerful tool for connection and growth. The key lies in intentionality. Focusing on quality over quantity, engaging with content that aligns with your values, and resisting the urge to consume mindlessly. Building offline habits that fulfill similar needs is another way to reduce dependence. If social media serves as a source of inspiration, turn to books, art, or the natural world. If it's connection you seek, prioritize face-to-face interactions, phone calls, or handwritten letters. These alternatives not only enrich your life, but also ground you in the present. Gratitude once again emerges as a transformative force. By focusing on what you appreciate in your life, you're less likely to seek validation or fulfillment online. Gratitude grounds you in the abundance of your reality, reminding you that meaningful connections and experiences exist beyond the screen. As you step back from the constant noise of social media, a ripple effect begins. Your focus sharpens, your relationships deepen, and your sense of clarity grows. The mental space once filled with endless scrolling now becomes available for creativity, connection, and growth. This shift is not just about reducing screen time, it's about reclaiming your life. Reducing digital consumption is a powerful step, but it also raises a deeper question. How much of yourself should you share with the world? In an era where sharing is second nature, protecting your privacy becomes an act of self-preservation. It's not about isolation, but about maintaining control over your narrative and ensuring that what you share aligns with your values and intentions. By safeguarding your personal life, you create a sanctuary for growth and authenticity, free from the weight of external judgment. As you begin to protect your personal space and reevaluate how much of yourself you share, a quiet empowerment takes root. In an age where oversharing is often mistaken for connection, preserving your privacy becomes an act of self-respect. It's not about withholding parts of yourself, but about deciding what, when, and with whom to share. This intentionality allows you to engage meaningfully with others while safeguarding the sanctity of your inner world. The urge to share often stems from a desire for validation or connection. It's human to want to be seen and understood, but not every part of your life needs an audience. Sharing selectively doesn't diminish your authenticity, it enhances it. By revealing only what feels aligned with your values and intentions, you maintain control over your narrative and create space for deeper connections rooted in trust. Oversharing can blur boundaries, leaving you vulnerable to misinterpretation or misuse of your personal information. Once details about your life are released into the world, they can take on a life of their own, interpreted through lenses you cannot control. By holding back, you preserve the integrity of your story, ensuring that it remains yours to tell. Intentional sharing begins with self-awareness. Before opening up, pause and ask yourself why you feel compelled to share. Are you seeking validation, processing emotions, or trying to build a connection? Understanding your motivation helps you determine whether sharing will serve your goals or whether it's better to keep that part of yourself private. This mindfulness ensures that your words are intentional rather than reactive. The context in which you share is just as important as the content. Not every person in your life needs access to your innermost thoughts or experiences. Consider the level of trust, mutual respect, and emotional safety you share with someone before deciding what to disclose. Selectiveness strengthens your relationships by ensuring that the information you share is valued and respected. In some cases, oversharing is an attempt to fill silences in conversations or establish a connection quickly. But meaningful relationships aren't built on a flood of personal information. They're cultivated through time, trust, and mutual understanding. Embracing silence as a natural part of dialogue allows for deeper, more thoughtful interactions. It's in these pauses that genuine connections often emerge. Respecting others' boundaries is another layer of protecting your own. Oversharing can place an emotional burden on those around you, especially if the information is deeply personal or unresolved. Being mindful of the balance between openness and consideration ensures that your sharing fosters connection rather than overwhelm. The digital realm presents unique challenges to maintaining privacy. Sharing personal details online, whether through social media or other platforms, exposes you to judgment, misunderstanding, or even exploitation. Before posting, ask yourself whether the content contributes meaningfully to your life or if it serves fleeting gratification. Recognizing the permanence of the internet encourages thoughtful sharing. In professional settings, oversharing can blur lines and impact your reputation. Striking a balance between authenticity and professionalism ensures that your interactions remain respectful and productive. While it's natural to build connections at work, Maintaining boundaries protects your personal life from becoming entangled in professional dynamics. Trusting yourself to hold on to your own story is empowering. Not every experience needs validation from others to have meaning. By keeping certain aspects of your life private, you affirm your ability to process and grow independently. This inner trust nurtures self-reliance and strengthens your sense of identity. Privacy also fosters an element of mystery, which enhances personal and professional relationships. When you withhold certain details, it invites curiosity and respect, encouraging others to engage with you more thoughtfully. Mystery isn't about being secretive. It's about preserving the richness of your inner world and sharing it intentionally. Selective sharing doesn't mean avoiding vulnerability. Authenticity is a powerful tool for building meaningful relationships, but it requires discernment. Choosing when and with whom to be vulnerable ensures that your openness is met with understanding and respect. This intentional vulnerability deepens connections without sacrificing your boundaries. Oversharing can dilute the significance of your experiences. When every detail of your life is made public, it loses its impact. By sharing selectively, you ensure that your stories carry weight and are received with the attention they deserve. This approach reinforces the value of your narrative. The risks of oversharing extend beyond the personal. Misunderstood or misused information can lead to conflicts, judgments, or regrets. By limiting what you disclose, you reduce these risks and maintain greater control over your interactions. This sense of control fosters peace and clarity. Gratitude helps shift the urge to overshare. When you focus on appreciating your experiences internally, you're less likely to seek external validation. Gratitude grounds you in the richness of your life, reminding you that not every moment needs an audience to hold meaning. Pausing before you speak or post is a simple but effective habit. This brief moment of reflection allows you to evaluate whether sharing aligns with your values and priorities. It also creates space to assess whether your words serve a constructive purpose or if they're driven by impulse. Listening more than you speak can transform your relationships. By focusing on understanding others rather than being understood, you foster trust and connection without the need to reveal too much about yourself. This shift also allows you to learn from others' experiences and perspectives. Saying no when someone pressures you to share details you'd rather keep private is an act of self-respect. Setting boundaries doesn't require confrontation. It's often as simple as saying, "I'd prefer not to talk about that right now." This clarity protects your energy and ensures that your privacy is upheld. Journaling or private reflection provides an outlet for your thoughts and emotions without requiring an audience. This practice helps you process experiences internally, reducing the need for external validation or feedback. It also deepens your self-awareness, allowing you to engage with others more authentically. By protecting your privacy, you cultivate emotional resilience. When you keep certain aspects of your life private, you build a stronger sense of independence and self-assurance. Your worth becomes rooted in who you are, not in how others perceive or react to you. Maintaining boundaries with your sharing creates space for deeper connections with yourself. Reflection becomes more meaningful when it isn't filtered through the expectations or judgments of others. This inner dialogue helps you understand your values, desires, and fears with greater clarity. Ultimately, privacy is an act of self-respect. It acknowledges the value of your experiences and the importance of safeguarding them. By sharing selectively, you honor yourself and those around you, creating a life rooted in intention, integrity, and peace. In this quiet empowerment, you discover that not every part of your journey needs to be public to be profound. As you master the art of safeguarding your privacy, another deeply ingrained force often emerges: the relentless pursuit of perfection. It whispers promises of validation, worthiness, and accomplishment, yet it often leads to exhaustion, self-doubt, and a sense of inadequacy. Perfectionism thrives on an illusion that flawless execution equates to success and that anything less is failure. But true growth, fulfillment, and connection lie in embracing imperfection and recognizing the beauty in life's inherent messiness. The pursuit of perfection often starts early, fueled by societal expectations, comparisons, or internalized pressures to succeed. It convinces you that your value lies in being flawless, whether in your work, relationships, or personal achievements. Yet, perfectionism is a paradox. The harder you chase it, the more elusive it becomes. Its weight can make you hesitant to take risks, share your vulnerabilities, or simply enjoy the process of living. Embracing imperfection begins with reframing success. Instead of measuring your worth by the absence of flaws, define it by the presence of effort, growth, and authenticity. Success is not a static destination, but a dynamic journey, one filled with challenges, mistakes, and breakthroughs. By shifting your focus from achieving perfection to making progress, you free yourself from the burden of unrealistic expectations. Mistakes are not the enemy, they are the teachers. Each stumble offers a chance to learn, adapt, and build resilience. They are stepping stones, not roadblocks, on the path to becoming your truest self. By viewing mistakes as opportunities rather than failures, you transform fear into curiosity and judgment into growth. This perspective allows you to approach life with a sense of openness and possibility. Perfectionism often creates a fear of vulnerability. The desire to appear flawless can make you reluctant to share your struggles or ask for help, isolating you from meaningful connections. Yet vulnerability is where trust, creativity, and innovation thrive. Allowing others to see your imperfections fosters deeper relationships, built on honesty and mutual respect rather than a facade of invulnerability. This fear of imperfection can also lead to procrastination, as the thought of not doing something perfectly prevents you from starting at all. But action, even imperfect action, is the antidote. The first step, no matter how small or uncertain, is often the hardest, but also the most transformative. It builds momentum, teaches you through experience, and reminds you that growth is rooted in trying, not in waiting for the perfect conditions. The pressure to achieve perfection often leads to burnout. The relentless drive to meet impossible standards can leave you physically and emotionally drained. Embracing imperfection involves recognizing your limits and valuing rest as an essential part of productivity and growth. Taking breaks, delegating tasks, or simply pausing to breathe replenishes your energy and allows you to approach your goals with renewed clarity and focus. Comparison fuels perfectionism by convincing you that your life should mirror the highlight reels of others. But these comparisons are rarely fair. They're based on incomplete views of others' journeys, showing only their successes while hiding their struggles. By focusing on your unique path, you shift the narrative from "why am I not there yet?" to "how far have I come?" This perspective fosters gratitude and self-compassion, reinforcing your intrinsic worth. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't mean abandoning your ambitions. It means aligning them with reality. Life is not linear, and growth is not tidy. By embracing the messiness of progress, you cultivate resilience, creativity, and adaptability. Each step forward, no matter how imperfect, is a victory worth celebrating. Practicing self-compassion is essential in releasing the grip of perfectionism. The inner critic that drives you to chase flawlessness thrives on harsh judgment and unrealistic expectations. By treating yourself with kindness, understanding, and patience, you create an inner dialogue that nurtures rather than punishes. Self-compassion reminds you that being human is enough, that your worth isn't tied to what you achieve, but to who you are. Mindfulness becomes a powerful tool in this journey. By staying present, you learn to engage fully with the process rather than fixating on the outcome. Mindfulness teaches you to appreciate each moment, each step, and each effort, finding joy in the act of doing rather than the need to achieve a perfect result. It creates a sense of peace and clarity, even in the face of challenges. Perfectionism often ties your self-worth to external validation, creating a cycle where you constantly seek approval from others. Breaking free involves recognizing that your value isn't conditional. It doesn't hinge on accolades or flawless performance. You are enough as you are right now. This realization is liberating, allowing you to pursue your passions and goals with a sense of freedom rather than pressure. The pursuit of perfection also stifles creativity. Innovation flourishes in imperfection, where there's room to experiment, fail, and try again. Allowing yourself to create without the weight of expectations opens the door to new possibilities, deeper self-expression, and unexpected discoveries. This creative freedom is not only enriching, but also essential to personal and professional growth. Embracing imperfection doesn't mean lowering your standards or avoiding growth. It means understanding that growth is messy, non-linear, and deeply human. Each challenge, misstep, and triumph contributes to your story, shaping you into a more resilient and authentic version of yourself. This perspective allows you to approach life with patience, grace, and courage. Letting go of perfectionism also transforms your relationships. When you accept your own imperfections, you create space to accept those of others. This shift fosters empathy and connection, allowing relationships to thrive without the pressure of unrealistic expectations. The bonds you form become deeper, rooted in mutual understanding rather than performance. The freedom that comes from releasing perfectionism is profound. Without the weight of impossible standards, you can approach life with curiosity, joy, and a sense of wonder. You become more open to opportunities, more willing to take risks, and more at peace with yourself. This journey is not about abandoning ambition, but about embracing a mindset that honors progress over perfection. It's a practice of showing up fully, even when things aren't ideal, and celebrating the effort rather than fixating on the outcome. By doing so, you create a life that's rich, vibrant, and deeply fulfilling. A life where imperfection is not a flaw, but a feature of your growth and humanity. As you release the grip of perfectionism, a subtler but equally insistent force often lingers: the desire to control. It manifests in the need to oversee outcomes, dictate every detail, or manage how others perceive and respond to you. At first glance, control seems like a path to security and order. Yet the more tightly you cling to it, the more it slips away, leaving frustration, anxiety, and a profound sense of imbalance in its wake. True freedom and peace come not from controlling every aspect of life, but from trusting the process and focusing on what truly matters. Control is often rooted in fear of failure, of loss, or of the unknown. It whispers that if you could just manage every variable, you could avoid discomfort or disappointment. But life is vast and unpredictable, its currents flowing in ways you cannot always foresee or direct. The Stoics remind us that the key to serenity lies not in trying to bend the world to your will, but in discerning what lies within your sphere of influence and what does not. This discernment is liberating. By focusing on your thoughts, actions, and reactions, domains where your power is strongest, you reclaim a sense of agency. Instead of exhausting yourself on external forces that cannot be controlled, you channel your energy into shaping your character, making intentional choices, and responding to challenges with clarity and grace. Letting go of control doesn't mean surrendering to chaos. It's an act of trust. Trust in your ability to adapt, in others to fulfill their roles, and in life's capacity to unfold in ways you cannot predict, but often learn to appreciate. This trust is not blind faith. It's a recognition that even when things don't go as planned, there is an opportunity for growth, connection, or insight. One of the most challenging aspects of relinquishing control is the tendency to micromanage. Whether in relationships, work, or personal projects, trying to oversee every detail can leave you feeling depleted and disconnected. It also undermines others' autonomy, creating resentment or dependency. Delegating tasks, stepping back, and allowing others to contribute in their own way fosters collaboration and trust. It's a reminder that there are many paths to success, and not all of them need to follow your exact vision. Flexibility is the antidote to control. Life's uncertainties often disrupt even the best-laid plans, but flexibility allows you to pivot with grace. Instead of clinging to an outcome that no longer aligns with the current reality, you adapt, finding new paths and possibilities. This mindset doesn't eliminate challenges, but it equips you to navigate them with resilience and creativity. The illusion of control often thrives on the desire for certainty, yet life is inherently uncertain. Stoicism teaches that accepting this truth brings peace. When you release the need to predict or plan for every outcome, you create space for curiosity and discovery. Uncertainty becomes less a source of fear and more a doorway to potential. Mindfulness is an invaluable practice in this process. By staying present, you can observe your need for control as it arises and choose to let it go. Mindfulness helps you focus on what is happening now rather than what might happen next. This shift reduces anxiety and brings clarity, reminding you that the present moment is where your influence is strongest. Detachment, a core principle of Stoicism, is another powerful tool. Detachment doesn't mean apathy or indifference. It's about releasing your emotional dependence on specific outcomes. By focusing on your efforts rather than the results, you free yourself from the weight of expectation. This mindset allows you to engage fully and authentically, knowing that you've done your part and the rest is beyond your control. Letting go of control also transforms relationships. The desire to influence how others act, think, or feel often creates tension and erodes trust. Accepting people as they are, with their complexities and imperfections, fosters deeper connections. It shifts the focus from trying to change others to understanding and appreciating them, building relationships rooted in respect and empathy. This acceptance extends to your emotions as well. Trying to control how you feel, suppressing sadness, avoiding discomfort, or forcing positivity, often amplifies those very feelings. Allowing yourself to experience emotions without judgment creates a sense of inner balance. It's a reminder that emotions, like waves, rise and fall, and that their impermanence is part of their power. Gratitude plays a vital role in releasing the need for control. By focusing on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude reminds you that life's beauty often lies in its unpredictability. Even the most challenging moments can bring lessons, connections, or opportunities you didn't anticipate. The journey of releasing control also involves self-compassion. The drive to control often stems from an internalized belief that you must manage everything perfectly to be worthy or successful. By treating yourself with kindness and understanding, you dismantle this narrative. You remind yourself that it's okay to make mistakes, to let go, and to trust in the flow of life. Patience is another essential practice. Letting go of control is rarely instantaneous. It's a gradual process, requiring consistent effort and self-awareness. There will be moments when you find yourself clinging again, but each time you choose to release, you strengthen your ability to live with trust and peace. As you relinquish control, you discover a profound freedom. No longer bound by the weight of trying to manage the uncontrollable, you approach life with lightness and curiosity. You open yourself to experiences and connections that might never have fit within the narrow confines of your plans. This practice doesn't mean abandoning your goals or desires. It means pursuing them with intention while remaining open to life's surprises. It's about finding strength, not in certainty, but in adaptability, and about building a life that flows with the currents rather than fighting against them. In this surrender, you find not loss but possibility, a life richer, deeper, and more aligned with who you truly are. As you embrace the practice of letting go of control, a profound transformation begins to take place. This shift is not merely about releasing the grip you hold over circumstances, people, or outcomes, but about stepping into a space of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process of life, and trust in the unknown. It's in this release that you discover the true essence of freedom, the ability to live fully, deeply, and authentically, unburdened by the constant need to direct and predict. Control is a deeply ingrained instinct. It gives the illusion of safety and order, promising that if you just manage every detail, you can avoid pain, failure, or loss. Yet, the reality is that control often becomes a cage, confining you to a life of rigid expectations and constant anxiety. True liberation comes from acknowledging the limits of your power and focusing instead on what lies within your sphere of influence, your thoughts, your choices, and your responses. This realization is both humbling and empowering. It requires you to confront the uncomfortable truth that much of life is beyond your control. Other people's actions, unforeseen challenges, and even the passage of time. But within this acceptance lies a profound strength. By shifting your energy from what you cannot change to what you can, you reclaim your agency. You become an active participant in your life, not by forcing outcomes, but by cultivating the mindset and actions that align with your values. At the heart of this transformation is the practice of trust. Trust in life doesn't mean believing that everything will go perfectly. It means believing that even when things don't go as planned, there is still value, growth, and beauty to be found. It's about recognizing that uncertainty is not a threat, but a canvas for possibility. Each moment of not knowing holds the potential for discovery, connection, and resilience. Trust also extends to others. The desire to control often stems from a fear of being let down or hurt, but true relationships, whether personal or professional, are built on mutual respect and autonomy. Allowing others to make their own choices, even when they differ from yours, fosters deeper connections. It shows that you value their individuality and trust in their ability to navigate their path. This doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior or abandoning boundaries. It means understanding that your role is not to shape others, but to walk alongside them. Letting go of control transforms how you navigate challenges. When you're fixated on a specific outcome, every deviation feels like a failure. But when you approach life with flexibility, obstacles become opportunities to adapt and grow. Flexibility doesn't eliminate difficulties, but it changes how you perceive and respond to them. Each twist and turn becomes part of a larger story, one that is richer for its unpredictability. Mindfulness becomes a cornerstone of this practice. By anchoring yourself in the present, you learn to focus on what is, rather than what might be. Mindfulness teaches you to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, creating space to respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. This presence allows you to engage fully with the moment at hand, appreciating its depth and nuance without being consumed by what comes next. Detachment, a core principle of Stoicism, also plays a vital role. Detachment is not about indifference or apathy. It's about releasing the emotional weight tied to specific outcomes. When you detach, you free yourself from the anxiety of what if and embrace the certainty of what is. It allows you to pour your energy into the process, into effort, growth, and authenticity, without being paralyzed by the fear of failure or the need for perfection. Gratitude is a powerful companion in this journey. By focusing on the abundance in your life, the people, experiences, and moments that bring joy, you shift your perspective from scarcity to sufficiency. Gratitude reminds you that life's most meaningful gifts often come unplanned, unfolding in ways you couldn't have controlled or predicted. This practice grounds you in appreciation, making it easier to trust the flow of life. The desire for control often stems from a need for certainty, but life's beauty lies in its impermanence. Accepting this truth is not a resignation, it's an awakening. It allows you to savor the present, knowing that each moment is fleeting and precious. Embracing impermanence teaches you to hold life lightly, not out of fear of loss, but out of reverence for its fleeting nature. In relationships, letting go of control means embracing people as they are, not as you wish them to be. It's about meeting others with empathy and understanding, recognizing that their path is their own. This shift fosters deeper intimacy, as connections are no longer burdened by expectations or attempts to change. Instead, they become spaces of mutual respect and shared growth. Letting go of control also reshapes your relationship with failure. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you realize that failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Each setback becomes a lesson, each mistake a stepping stone. This perspective frees you from the fear of falling short, allowing you to take risks, pursue your passions, and explore new possibilities with courage and curiosity. Self-compassion is essential in this process. The drive to control often stems from an internalized belief that you must manage everything perfectly to be worthy. But worthiness is not conditional, it is inherent. By treating yourself with kindness and understanding, you create an inner foundation of strength. You remind yourself that it's okay to let go, to trust, and to embrace the unknown. As you release control, you also create space for creativity and innovation. When you stop trying to force solutions or outcomes, you allow your mind to explore new ideas and perspectives. This openness leads to breakthroughs as you tap into the natural flow of inspiration rather than confining it within rigid structures. Releasing control doesn't mean abandoning your dreams or goals. It means pursuing them with intention while remaining open to life's surprises. It's about finding strength not in certainty, but in adaptability. By focusing on what you can influence and trusting in the unfolding of what you cannot, you create a life that is both purposeful and expansive. This practice requires patience. Letting go is not a one-time act, but an ongoing journey. There will be moments when the urge to control resurfaces, but each time you choose trust over fear, you reinforce your ability to live with grace. Over time, this shift becomes second nature, transforming how you approach every aspect of your life. In the space left by control, freedom takes root. This freedom is not about doing whatever you want, but about being fully present, fully engaged, and fully alive. It's the freedom to experience life as it is, not as you demand it to be. It's the freedom to love deeply, pursue boldly, and live authentically, knowing that even in uncertainty there is profound beauty. This journey is not easy, but it is transformative. As you let go of control, you discover a life of deeper connection, greater clarity, and boundless possibility. You learn that true strength lies not in holding on, but in letting go. And in this release, you find not chaos, but peace, not loss, but abundance, not fear, but joy.